right? Some of them are going to decide to stay behind. So what do, right? And it's like, yeah, we process our savior energy, we allow their higher selves to be right, yeah. And one of the things that I find helps people is, look at that dog. It's not a dog. One of the things that I find helps people is when they say, yeah, but it's my children, it's my children. I say, well, you've had how many lives on this planet and other planets? Well, I don't know. Well, maybe let's say be very, very kind of, you know, on the low side, and let's say 200. Okay, on the low side, 200 lives in a physical body, and maybe subtle bodies. Say, okay, so if you think about that, then how many children have you had in all of those lives? How many? Wow, yeah, I've even tapped into, oh my gosh, I've had thousands of children. Right? I've been father to thousands of children. I've been mother to thousands of children. Just in those lifetimes, they were absolutely precious to you, most of them, anyways. Right? Totally, totally precious, and you sometimes you gave your life up for them because they were so precious. Yes, that is true. So now you don't even think about them, right? You moved on, right? So, and they moved on. And maybe your children now, yeah, maybe they've been your children lots of times, and maybe they've been your parents lots of times, and your brothers and sisters lots of times, and your best friend lots of times, and your husband or your wife lots of times, you know? It doesn't end. In this expanded state of awareness, and you probably felt it yourselves, you probably met people, and you knew, both of you knew that you've met each other before, right? And sometimes these are positive meetings, like, oh my God, I know we were very close or friends or something. We have to make friends in this lifetime because I know you from before, and it was positive, right? And sometimes you meet somebody and you hate them and you want to kill them and you don't know why, right? And all these type of things. But so you're already sensing that expanded awareness, that expanded connection, and expanded shared memories type of stuff. And I can assure you that the people who stay behind are not going to stay behind forever. They just need to finish their games. They have to have like some sort of conclusion, yeah, closure of their games. And some of them are stuck in bodies that are extremely disabled, so they can't make a move if they wanted to. For example, and I'm not talking about disabilities that, for example, somebody in a wheelchair. I'm talking about a junkie, a drug addict that is so addicted that they don't have teeth left, right? They're so addicted they can't manage to get themselves out of it. I'm talking about people who have had or manifested or whatever, so many vaccinations that they're totally, totally injured, right? In a physical sense too. They cannot, their circuitry doesn't work right. So, you know, and you might think, oh my God, you know, I was vaccinated to hell. I received so many vaccines. You have no idea. I was vaccinated to hell and back, right? My physical voice messed up big time, but I'm still able to hold onto some of that expanded awareness, right? So it's not just about that, but it's also the choice, the choice of experience. And sometimes that's all it's going to take. It's going to take living out their lives and coming back, and they'll be back in our paradigm. And you'll remember them, and they'll remember you, right? If that's what you both choose to do. With regards to vaccinations, I was looking at, I mean, they're really driving that home right now, and it's another choice point. If you fall for fear, if you fall for that, you drink the Kool-Aid, and that's an American saying, then you're going to be in trouble. Flu vaccinations, fear-based decisions. a long time ago, I practiced. Has it stopped? Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah, Ili says he can hear me. Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, good. Thank you. So, what was I saying about the vaccinations and choices? Yeah, so a long time ago, I used to practice Buddhism, and a school of Buddhism that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, went south. It went not very good. So I had to leave it, but they had really good tools. And the Buddhist leader that I was friends with, she was really an awesome woman. And one time she said, "Listen, before you make a life-changing decision," we were talking about me leaving my husband at the time. Don't make a decision when you're in anger, in a state of anger. Don't make decisions in a low frequency like anger, because any decision you take in anger is gonna backfire. It's gonna be a bad decision. Make decisions when you process your anger, you step out of anger, and then make the decision, and that'll be the right decision. But of course, we have to expand on that and also look at fear, right, and social programming and all these other things. Savior energies. I stepped out of anger, so I didn't divorce him right away. I should have, right? But I stepped into savior mode. It's like, what's it gonna do if I leave him? He's gonna collapse and die or whatever. And then my children will have no daddy. Oh my God, they don't have a daddy. What's gonna happen? They don't have a daddy. It's gonna be awful. Of course, it was the opposite. They would have been way better off without that person in their lives. And as soon as they had a chance, they'll stopped having communication with him. So it's one of those situations where you have to watch for the why. Really watch for the why. And we'll go back now to that conversation I was having with you before about conscious manifestation. After you figure out the group dynamic of the manifestation, you go into yourself and find the why. So you want to be healthy. Why? Why do you want to be healthy? Because then I'll be free and I can do anything I want. Usually that's the answer. You want to be wealthy. Why? Because I want to be free and do anything I want. Right? You want to have a loving, beautiful relationship. Why? Because in that relationship, I'll be free to be myself and do anything I want. Right? Usually that's the answers. There's other ones, like there's also satisfaction. There's I'll feel fulfilled. I'll be able to do stuff. That's another way of saying I'll do what I want. I'll be powerful. What's the other one? Successful. Right? There's lots of whys, and these are good whys, right? But guess what? Your health, your relationship, and your money is not what you want to manifest. It's the why. You want to manifest your freedom. You want to manifest your satisfaction. You want to manifest doing what you want. And how do you do that? You make conscious decisions out of the programs and out of the low frequency stuff. That's as simple as that. You, because you have the capacity to look at something, test it for resonance, do the field processing exercise and all other frequency, lower frequency exercises, firewalls exercise, all the tools that I put out for you are there for your freedom. So you can make conscious decisions. That is freedom. If you're feeling to falling into a decision, then you can stop and look at it, look at that decision and say, okay, if I do that, or I take that person, or I buy that thing, or I take that job, or whatever, or move whatever's, or I stay here at home today, is that fulfilling my why, my real why? Am I making this decision out of freedom because I really, truly want to do this? Or am I taking this decision because I'm afraid? I'm afraid of rejection. Am I afraid of poverty? Am I afraid of getting hurt? I'm afraid of being alone. I'm afraid. What is it? And then if you find the fear, then you process that fear and look at it again, right? You might take the same decision, and you might not. I know for a fact, that Luna was going to die and was going to exit our lives somehow, sooner rather than later. I know this for a fact. But how it came about was in a very negative, traumatic way for everybody. Right? Now, I know for a fact that, for example, the house we were trying to manifest in the village with Larry's cousin, I know for a fact that we probably wouldn't have, not fact. I have a very strong feeling that the same situation would have happened no matter what we did. We did do 3 things that were dissonant, in my opinion. And all that carried was to bring a war forward and make it extremely unpleasant for us to release that house. Very, very, very unpleasant. And it could have been different. It could have been released in a very positive way. So how do I know these things? You know, it's like people say everything happens for a reason. Yeah, but sometimes the reason is really bad. Sometimes the reason is an exploitative energy or person and entity wanting to, suck you dry, exploit you, put you in suffering so they can take all your energy. That might be the why. So yeah, everything happens for a reason is true, but not necessarily for a good reason. Not good for you or for the planet. Okay. War happens for a reason. Yeah, it makes a lot of money to a lot of people. Yeah, but it's not a good reason. So have the reason, the why of why you do things be the thing that you do, right? And the base of what moves you forward and the decisions that you take. You are free now. You are more free than most people on the planet, right? You are able to make conscious decisions. And you're able to process your fears, your programs, and then make conscious decisions. You can decide to keep a firewall. You can decide to keep a fear if it's still serving you. That's freedom. Yeah. So I'm not saying don't become a billionaire. I'd like you to become a billionaire, full of, ability to do, and lacking any type of firewalls or negative programs around it. Because I know that if you're a billionaire, if everybody on this call was a billionaire, my gosh, we would see massive, massive, massive changes on the planet. We would see projects that are amazing, just life-changing projects for all of us, for the entire human species. So absolutely. Like my why of why I want you to become billionaires is that, but it doesn't involve your, kids or your grandma necessarily. Right? Know that when you look deeply into why you want something, if you're going to spend a lot of time dedicated to having that happen, it has to be squeaky clean, and then it'll be filled with ease and supported. Yeah. And when things that you know is going to bring you a lot of happiness come forth, and then blocks come about, but you don't lose that joy in the expression, in expressing that manifestation, then you know you're in the right path. So, for example, I manifested a Mercedes, a beautiful, amazing Mercedes-Benz some years back. And people said, why on earth would you do that? It's like, why didn't you just buy a little Fiat or something, And it's like, well, when I sat in the Fiat, it felt plasticky, the smells gave me a headache, and it just felt empty, when I sat on this Mercedes, I could feel the love of the craftsmen and women that made it. And it was luxurious, and I loved the luxurious feeling of it. I loved it. It just felt so good to be in that luxury, to feel the leather, to feel the wood and the polished items and, you know, the shiny, sparkly. I loved it. I loved it. And something really funny happened because I had to get it through a loan, right? And I didn't have good credit, so the loan was like, I don't know, 14% interest or something ridiculous, 11% or something. I don't know. It was really, really bad. And I decided to do. It was really bugging me. Okay, it was really bugging me. I decided to do a YouTube video of releasing negative stuff that is negative, right? So I had a box. It's a box, right? It's this exercise. You put all the negative stuff in this box and you sit with it, you observe it, you're allowed to exist. Basically, you're allowed to exist and allow it to be there and all that stuff. I was doing the video and I pulled out the loan payments, right? I said, oh my gosh, you know, this is my loan. And I'm like, okay. So I did the exercise, and then suddenly during that video, it went, it released. And it was like, I didn't care. It was like, wow, that I don't care that I have to pay all that interest. And I know somehow this is resolved. I don't know why or how or whatever, but I know it's resolved. And then later on that day, I get a call from the dealership and the lady who deals with all the loans. And she said, I'm phoning because, well, she said, it's something very strange. I says, what is it? Well, she said, I've never seen this happen before. And of course, you know, I have to call you. Anyways, I got a call from the loans company. They want to offer you 1.1% instead of 14 or 11 or whatever it was. And she said, yeah, this has never happened to me. I've worked in this for decades. This has never happened before. I don't know what's going on. But of course, I would highly suggest you take it. And I'm like, yes. And she said, the only thing you have to do is pay them an extra $2,000 or something, or $1,000. As it happened, I had received that amount a few days earlier. So I had it. So I said, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to do that. So I went over, paid that extra money, and my interest went down from 11 or 14% to 1.1%, which was unheard of. Nobody gets a loan of 1.1%, right? Not even, I mean, especially not then, right? And even now, it's like when I look at buying things and the interest rates that they give you, it's like nobody does 1.1%. So it's like, this is how how powerful these exercises are. They are powerful. They do work. And it really, really gives you that freedom. I will have the freedom to own my car, right? And I was even freed of the bitterness of having to pay such a high interest rate because, you know, I'm awesome. But you're awesome too, and you totally can do anything you want. So yeah, have a look at the why. What is it? You know, what is it that you would do? And why? The why is more important. If you want to manifest something really big in your life, why? Have a look at the why. Yeah.